Hey there, ninjas. So I wanted to do a really quick live because I'm in the middle of gardening, so to speak. So I have uh, some raised beds out here where I'm growing some actual vegetables, but I grow all of my herbs on my deck because I just think they're pretty, but also they take up a lot less space. So I wanted to do a quick live to show you guys how easy it is to grow herbs even if you don't have a yard, right? So like you can grow them if you have a yard. And you can still grow them in pots, or even if you only have like a deck. I'm trying to figure out where the good light is. There we go. If you only have a deck, or even just like a nice table that gets good sunlight on the inside of your house, you can grow herbs there too. So I want to, hi Osby, ha ha ha, yeah, ha ha. Anyways, I want to show you what I'm doing, and then I'll probably report back tomorrow with what I've done. So let me see if I can turn this camera around. I think I can. Let's see. Oop, there we go. Alrighty, so here I've got like a quick little pot that I've put together with another pot in the middle because I think that looks nice. So here I've got oregano, marjoram, and some thyme. And then here I've got some tarragon. This tarragon plant is a little bit older. It's been in this pot for 2 years. I need to repot it. And it actually sat in the sun for more than it likes. So it's got a couple brown leaves. Then I've got my sage over here in this little pot, which I like a lot. Love you too, Osby. I've got my sage here in this little pot. It actually grows really well in a pot. And the thing about herbs, the reason why they do so well in pots is because once it hits like 80 degrees, they bolt and they go to seed. And you can continue to grow them if they're actually like in the ground or in a raised bed. They will continue, a lot of herbs will continue to grow year after year after year. But truthfully, like after a couple years, they get a little woody, and I find that they don't really taste as good. So planting herbs in pots is great because you just replace them every year. They're cheap. They're like $3 at the garden store, and then you always have these like beautiful, fresh, young, tender herbs. I've also got this thing over here. You can see it's a pocket thingy. And I'm debating whether I want to put herbs in here too. Like I kind of have this vision of like beautiful green herbs like spilling down and just looking beautiful. But I might also plant some petunias in there because I've got a lot of green out here. So I'm thinking that I might want some color. So you can see I've got some petunias up here. I've got my little candy stripe guys, some other colors. I've also got some catnip here because I have cats, which leads me to my next point. If you can hang herbs, I've got some chives here kind of hanging. You can see I just gave them a haircut because they had totally gone to seed. And there's tons of little purple flowers, which we ate because chive flowers are edible. So I'm actually going to pull these guys out of the pots and replace them with fresh chives. Although chives are another one that if you leave them in place, they will continue to grow year after year after year and can actually get really big and bushy. You can actually see that I've got more chives in this little plant or in the strawberry pot here, and I've got like little violas growing out of the individual little pockets of the strawberry pot. Violas are edible, so you can grow them and eat them, assuming you haven't sprayed them with pesticide. Violas, they don't really like hot weather. These are more of a cool weather plant, which is why these guys are doing better, and these guys up here aren't super happy because it's like 98 degrees out right now, and these guys are actually protected from the sun in the morning and the afternoon. So this particular plant and these guys over here have gotten less exposure to the sun than these guys that get sun most of the day. So I might actually pull these guys out and put in more violas at the end of the year, depending on how these guys grow back. Violas are pretty hardy, and it turns out they're kind of a weed. Like when I moved into this house, I had violas in a couple places, and I ripped them out to plant vegetables. And wouldn't you know it, I get a ton of violas every year, even though I ripped them out. I've got some more violas here growing in a pot and some more here because I really like violas. This is a ground lily, so it's a little different. And then down here I've got rosemary in a pot and another one over here actually. And the thing about rosemary and growing it in pots is that it does okay in pots. It really likes to be in the ground. It doesn't like to have hot roots. If you put something in a pot like this and the sun shines on the pot down here, like it'll heat up the pot, which will heat up the roots, and plants don't generally like that, and rosemary doesn't like that, but it'll do okay in a pot. So if you want to plant rosemary in pots, it'll do pretty well as long as you monitor how much sun it gets and how much water it gets. And I've got some lavender here that I'm going to put in the yard somewhere. I just haven't figured out where yet, but it smells amazing. Oh man, that smells really good. So this is like a quickie update on like what's going on in my herb garden. I'm going to do a little bit more herb gardening tonight. Now that it's cooled off a little bit. Let me see if I can turn this around. There we go. I'm going to do a little bit more herb gardening tonight. Now that it's cooled off, I'm probably going to hang some more pots, maybe some flowers. I might shift some of these plants, some of these herbs around, and I'll report back and let you know what I've done and how it goes. Maybe I'll show you the rest of my garden too. Anyways, I'll see you later. Bye.